Hey everyone, it's Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys a long-awaited music collection update video. Haven't done one of these in about 2-3 months, or 2.5, I should say. Bought a lot of stuff, and since then I have like a stack of CDs this big, and I only have like 3 vinyl records to show you guys. So I'm just gonna blow through it all. I'm just gonna work with this pile of CDs and then showcase the vinyls last. So without further ado, let's get started. First one I want to showcase is a new 2024 release, and that'd be the new Accept album, Humanoid. I thought this was a pretty damn good album. I think it's a great follow-up to their previous album, To Mean to Die, which came out in 2021. First album on Napalm Records, which I think is solid for them. Um, yeah, and what can I say about Accept that hasn't been said already? I think these guys have been around since the late 70s, early 80s, and they've just been putting out great albums. And mostly their last few albums have been really, really great ever since Blood of the Nations, which came out 15 years ago. And I think I've said this before, but I don't really say this much about any bands, but Except for Me are one of those bands that like I would say that I like their newer material better than their older material. Not to say that their older material is bad by any means. I love like Balls to the Wall and Metal Heart, but I just feel like for a band that's been around for so many years, like their last few albums have been really, really heavy. But overall, it's a damn good album. Anyway, next 2 albums are from the same band, and I'm talking about the band Agalock. If you aren't familiar with Agalock, they're sort of like a doomy kind of death metal, black metal band from Washington. And I had the pleasure of finally seeing them this past last weekend at a Maryland Death Fest in Baltimore, where I have 2 of their albums. First off being Ashes of the Grain, and I actually got a promo copy, and I had it signed by 2 of the members. I believe it's John and Jason, I believe. Forgive me if I think mispronouncing names, but yeah, it's pretty cool because I got this thing. This is a promo copy I got off of eBay, I believe, and they saw it. I was like, this is good. And I got probably my favorite Agalock album, Pale Folklore, which is also signed right here. This is pretty cool. Next up, I got the band Archgoat. If you aren't familiar with Archgoat, they're a black metal band based out of Finland. Been around since the late 90s, but they got back together in the mid 2000s. I have one of their albums that came out 2018, Worship the Eternal Darkness. And as you can see, I got this signed by Ritual Butcher where I saw him and yeah, I actually had interviewed Ritual Butcher, and he had wanted a CD of this, and he actually just gave it to me, and I was like, oh, cool. So if you're watching this, Ritual Butcher, thank you very much for this. I really fucking appreciate it. But it's a sick band, and they're very underrated in my opinion. Anyway. Next 2 albums I want to talk about are from the band Artillery. If you aren't familiar with Artillery, they're a thrash metal band from Denmark. Been around since the mid 80s. I got 2 of their albums. First off, I have is Legions, or yeah, right here. And if you could see, I signed by the band because I saw them back in April at Boggs in Atlanta. It's good. And I got their last album, X, right here, also signed. I got this from when I saw them. Anyway, moving on to 2 albums from the same band. That'd be the band Doth, from, of course, my home state of Atlanta. So first off, I have their classic album, The Concealers. Got this off of Discogs, and you can see it came signed by the band, and also came with a guitar pick, which I have like over there, but I don't feel like it. And of course, I got their new album, The Deceivers, which came out this year. First album in a long ass time. And man, I think it's a really great album. I just like, of course, I've interviewed all 6 members. Really nice guys. Yeah, and what can I say? It's a great album. Great to hear some new Doth music in 2024. Next 2 albums I want to talk about is from a band that, well, I don't think I really need to talk much about. I'm sure some people have heard of them. That'd be the band Decapitated from Poland. Been around since the mid to late 90s. I have their last 2 albums. First off being Anti-Cult. which of course you could see it signed by the band right here, because I did a VIP meet and greet when I met them in last April with this. It was like them and Septic Flesh, and funny enough, I actually met all of Septic Flesh too with when I saw Decapitated, because while Decapitated was doing their meet and greet, they also, Septic Flesh at their merch had a vinyl set up, and the band was actually came out and like sand signed them all, and I met them all too while being Decapitated, so I didn't have to worry about meeting them, especially because it was at the Masquerade, and they always have issues with people being at the loading dock saying it's like, oh, it's for safety, and I'm like, it's so stupid. Like, the bands don't even care, so I got to meet them, so suck it, Masquerade. But anyway, moving on to their last album, I also have Cancer Culture, which is great, and I'm looking forward to seeing this album played in full, because I'm going to be going back to 70,000 Tons of Metal next year, and of course I went earlier this year, and it was great, so I'm looking forward to that. Next up, I got new 2024 album. That'd be new Deicide album, Banished by Sin. I think it's a really good album. I know a lot of people, this kind of has a lot of controversy, especially with the whole AI generated artwork. So I'm like, fuck the artwork. I don't really give a shit. I just think the music itself is just kick-ass. It's great to see Glenn and the boys still rocking after all these years. Next up is a new band to the collection. I'm talking about the band Durketa. I have their one and so far only album being In Death We Meet. It's a really good album. Has my good friend Robin Mason, who you probably know. She plays bass for Castrator and Gruesome, and she also does like merch for bands. She does merch for like Obituary, Merciful Fate, Monomarth, a plethora of other bands. So yeah, it was great to see her band play at Maryland Death Fest. So cool people. Anyway, next 4 albums are all from the same band. I'm talking about the band Dismember. If they're a death metal band from Sweden, been around since the late 80s, early 90s. So I got 4 of their releases. First off being the Pieces EP. As you can see, I got this sign from when I saw them at Maryland Death Fest this past weekend. They're doing like a signing, and I got to meet them all. Of course, I've interviewed Fred and Richard. They pretty much recognize me. They're all like cool people, so got that. Also have Hate Campaign, The God That Never Was, and the Self-Titled. So yeah. My next artist I want to talk about, I'm kind of breaking away from the metal genre, and I'm talking about DMX. I don't think I need to say much about him. Legend, rest in peace. He was a great rapper. I loved songs like X Gonna Give It To You, yeah, Party Up in Here, just classic stuff. So yeah, I just had to get this just as a legend. I got this at a CD warehouse. It was only a couple bucks, so classic rapper, one of my favorites. Next up, new 2024. But I'm talking about the band Era with their new album Cure. If you are familiar with Era, they're sort of a progressive kind of metalcore band from Birmingham, Alabama. Been around since 2009. This is their new album. I thought it was pretty solid. Next up, I have a compilation album. Now, when it comes to like collecting albums and stuff, I'm usually not like, don't really buy like best of or compilations. It really just depends on like the artist. If it's an artist like I only like really the hits or so, but I would get this. And I'm talking about Heart, the Essential Heart. Funny enough, I actually got this on a bid. I got this, came signed by Ann and Nancy Wilson, the 2 Wilson sisters. I just got just for like the obvious hits like Barracuda, the Crazy on You. Don't think I really need to say much about this. Next 2 albums from the same band. That'd be the band Hour of Penance, sort of a technical kind of death metal band from Italy. First off, I have one of their classic albums, Paradogma. And then their new album that came out this year, Devotion. I know, kind of similar to the Deicide album, the whole controversy with the artwork being like AI or something. And I'm like, well, fuck that. I don't really give a shit. I just like the music. So yeah, I try to avoid all that drama and everything. Next up, one of my favorite albums that came out last year. I'm talking about Incantation. I don't think I really need to say much about Incantation. Pretty sure everybody's heard of them. Been around since the late 80s from Pennsylvania. Their new album, Unholy Defecation. Really good album. I mean, John, my buddy John can do no wrong. Next up, I got another new 2024 release to show you. That'd be the new Ingested album, The Tide of Death and Fractured Dreams. A really good album. If you obviously haven't heard of Ingested, brutal death metal band from Manchester, England. Been around since 2006, and they can do no wrong. It's just a fucking great kick-ass album. Another compilation album, kind of similar with Heart. I decided to get this, and that'd be Journey Greatest Hits. I just got it just for the obvious hits like Don't Stop Believing, Any Way You Want It. It's Separate Ways. Just I like some Journey, so this is why I got this. I got a CD warehouse in Marietta. It was only like a couple bucks, so well worth it. Next three albums are all from the same band. I don't think I really need to do much introduction. That'd be Mayhem, black metal band from Norway. Been around for now exactly 40 years this year since they formed. I have three of their albums because it's funny because Mayhem, I had their earlier stuff, but and their last two albums, but nothing in between, which is a lot of the people don't really pay much attention. They just focus on like the earlier material or even the last couple albums, but I like the early material. First off, I want to showcase I have the Grand Declaration of War. As you can see, I got this signed by Hellhammer from when I saw him with Mayhem, and he was also playing with Arcturus, but it was the day that Arcturus played, I had him sign this. And I also have Chimera and Order Ad Chaos right here. So yeah, I just needed those Mayhem albums. I just never really had any of those, to be honest. Moving on to the band, first band, new band in the collection, that'd be the band Overcast with Reborn to Kill Again. If you're familiar with Overcast, they're kind of a metalcore band from Massachusetts. Had actually, I would consider it kind of like a little supergroup in a way. It has Brian Fair from Shadows Fall, and I believe I think Mike D from Killswitch Engage was in the band. And of course, I think this album was produced by Adam D from Killswitch, so this is actually a pretty good band, very underrated in my opinion. Next three albums are from the same band. I'm really looking forward to seeing them in September with my friends in Unleash the Archers. Talking about the band Powerwolf. They're a power metal band based out of Germany. I got three of their albums. So, well, first off, I have is their debut album, Return in Blood Red. Try to believe next year will be 20 years since that came out. And I got Lupus Dei, their second release. This is a 15-year anniversary reissue that Metal Blade put out, and this as a second disc, which has like some demo versions of some of the songs on here. And then I also have Blood of the Saints. Anyway, moving on to another band that probably doesn't need introduction. That'd be the band Tankard from Germany, thrash metal band, been around since the early 80s. And fun fact, Tankard for me was a band where I only had like a few, one or two albums. It was more of their later stuff, but I never really had a chance to get like their earlier stuff until recently when I found out they were going to be on the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise next year. So yeah, I finally get to see Tankard live. I was kind of bummed they dropped off Maryland Death Fest this year because they were supposed to play, but then, of course, they had like one of the members had like a surgery or something, and the recovery time they wouldn't have been able to make it. So yeah, most of these are first earlier stuff, or actually reissues that I believe BMG or Noise Music or Sanctuary, I can't remember, but had put out in 2017, 2018. These are like all digipacks. So first off I got is Zombie Attack, Chemical Invasion, The Morning After. And this is actually has two discs. It actually has the Alien EP like attached with it right here. So I thought that was a pretty cool bonus. The Meaning of Life, Stone Cold Sober, The Tankard, and this actually has a second CD called Tankwart. It's off Get Tanked. I probably butchered that. And I also got King of Beer, and this is actually a promo copy that I got from Discogs. And then I also have The Beauty and the Beer. So yeah, I pretty much need only 7 more of their albums, and I pretty much have everything. Next up, I got some stuff. We're almost done with this pile. I got some stuff from the band Tyr. I'm pretty sure some people have heard of them. Sort of like a power metal, folk metal band from the Faroe Islands. I got the 2 of their albums. I got the Ragnarok. As you can see, I got this sign from when I did a VIP meet and greet with them back in April. Really cool guys. And then, of course, I got their new album, Battle Ballads. I thought this was a really good album. I also got this signed by them. So, yeah. And then, also, another one of my favorite albums to come out this year. New Unleash the Archers album, Phantoma. My good friends with these guys. Really good album. It's Brittany and the boys definitely stepped up their game with this. And I think it's just a damn good album. And then next up, I got 3 CDs from the band Vomitory. If you're not familiar with Vomitory, they're a death metal band from Sweden. Been around since the late 80s or early 90s. I got 3 of their albums right here. And here, I just needed them to complete their discography. First off, being Raped in Their Own Blood. Also got this signed by Tobias and Eric. I have all their albums signed as well, but I just needed, those are the only 3 I needed from that I didn't have in the last update to complete our discography, so I got that. Redemption. And their latest album that came out last year, All Heads Are Gonna Roll. And a funny fact, I was actually, when I had them sign this, I had Tobias actually told me that, funny enough, their artwork, some of the band's heads, like he said this was like Tobias's head, and I was like, holy shit, I never knew that. So I thought that was fucking awesome. Yep. Another new 2024 release, that'd be the band While She Sleeps with Self Hell. I know some people will probably give me shit for this, probably not, but I dig some of these guys' stuff. Yeah, if you're unfamiliar with them, they're a metalcore band based out of Sheffield, England. Been around since 2006. I thought it was pretty cool. And the last CD to showcase, it's funny because in my music collection, I have everything from like A, but it ends to the letter Y. And I never had an artist that started with Z, and then I just skipped to like the numbered bands and compilations and miscellaneous stuff. But I have here my first ever band collection to the band that starts with a Z, and that'd be the band Zyklon with their album Aeon. If you're unfamiliar with Zyklon, they're sort of like a industrial kind of death metal, black metal band. Has Samoth and Trim from Emperor, so it's a pretty good album. It's a shame that they broke up. This is like the only album I have from them, but yeah, it's cool to have an artist that start with Z. So that's all the CDs right here. Now we're on to the vinyl records. Like I said in the beginning, I've only have 3 to show, so I'll showcase this first one. That'd be the band Atheist with Unquestionable Presence. If you're unfamiliar with Atheist, they're a death metal band from Florida, been around since the late 80s. I got this online from Discogs, and funny enough, I actually got this signed by Kelly Schaefer. You could see he actually personalized it to me, saying Richard Rules, Kelly Schaefer 2024. And I think this is a reissue that Nuclear Blast put out last year. And this vinyl itself is this kind of blue with sort of yellow splatter. And I think that was pretty cool right here. Just put this back right in here. Next up, I have another one. I got Dismember with Like an Ever-Flowing Stream. This is their debut. It's a reissue that Nuclear Blast put out last year. Here's the back with the band members. And I also got this signed by the band at MDF. And this vinyl itself is this kind of weird marbly looking vinyl. I thought that's pretty amazing. Just put that back in here. And then last band or vinyl showcase is Frost by Enslaved. Classic sort of Viking black metal. And And look, the back with the band members. It's a gatefold right here with the lyrics. Yeah, I think this is a simple black vinyl. I just put that back in. So yeah, that's my collection update video for you guys. Hope there's something in there that you enjoyed, and thank you guys for watching this video. And also, recently I just hit 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. So to anybody that has subscribed to this channel, I've been a fan for the last 12 years or even recently, thank you guys very much. I am planning on doing a new video talking about that soon, so be on the lookout for that. But thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for subscribing, and thanks for all the support. And as always, keep it metal.